I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe you're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through. I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe you're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go. The only thing that I know, you were my gravity, but now I had to leave. I will let you go. Why do you think that I want? Why do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity. 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 I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here as we get set for the 19th race of the second season of the NNSCRA Duracell Ultra Lite Series. Qualifying taking place here today, race tomorrow. This is the penultimate race of the regular season. This is basically going to set the table now for who are going to be our 10 drivers that will be battling for this season's championship. 7 drivers get in on points, 3 drivers get in through wildcard spots, and it's the first time ever that the Lights drivers have taken to Hanford. Hanford, basically, in my opinion, is very similar to Pocono. It is triangular in shape. It has 3 unique corners, all of different banking degrees. The only slight difference between this track and Pocono is the fact that the start-finish line is all the way down nearly to the entrance of Turn 1. That means that there's an entire front straightaway before you get to the start-finish line, which could play a huge difference in both the Lights and the Cup Series race that we're going to have here this weekend as to who's going to be that first one back to get the checkered flag. But 10 minutes on the clock, and already several drivers have headed out onto the racetrack here. Aubrey Powell in the 71 looks like was the first driver to hit the stripe for an up-to-speed lap, so we'll keep our focus for the moment here on the Interstate Batteries Toyota Supra out of Haas Racing. Aubrey Powell coming into this race currently scored in the second wildcard spot, 9th in overall points with a victory earlier on this season at Pocono. So I mentioned about this being kind of a mini Pocono. Might fit into the wheelhouse of a driver like Aubrey, who's going to hit the stripe, and a 41.308 is going to be the benchmark lap that everybody else will be looking to beat. I'm not exactly 100% certain how much track position is going to be a key here this weekend. As mentioned, we've only run one previous race here, and that was on the Cup side last season. And I've also mentioned that a big reason why this doubleheader is even taking place, why the Cup Series even has come back, and why the Light Series have joined them, is a lot of different tweaks have been made, as last season's debut on the Cup Series schedule was okay, but could have been better. So one would assume with the edits that were made that there will be a slight difference in what we will see from last season to this season. So a little bit more of the not sure what to expect factor comes into play in terms of how good is it to have solid starting track position, how likely is it for a driver to be able to work their way from mid-pack, rear of the field, up to the front, how much does pit strategy come into play, because we did have quite a number of yellow flags in that Cup Series race last season as well. Didn't really get to see much strategy play out, so yeah, a lot of question marks coming into this race for sure, but looking forward to getting them all answered by the time we're concluded with this weekend. Clean racetrack was key right there for Aubrey Powell. 41.037 is the lap time to beat, and right now nobody is anywhere close to that vicinity. As let's go through and let's highlight some drivers coming into this race in some very pivotal spots. Aubrey Powell being one of them. Another of our couple wildcard drivers would be this driver here, Cody Majorek, who right now is second on the board at a 41.225, and he just improved to a 41.113, still holding the second position. Cody Majorek is right now the final wild card driver, as he is 10th in the overall standings, but listen to these numbers of advantage that he's got over some other one-time winners who are all clumped 12th through 17th in points. He is 8 points ahead of Juan Garcia. He is 10 points ahead of Skylar Taylor. He is 12 points ahead of Michael Turner. He is 18 points ahead of Nathan Stapleton, 24 points ahead of Wes McCoy, and 28 points ahead of Dave Smith. Any of those drivers could easily point themselves ahead of Majorek if Majorek has a bad day here tomorrow. And of course, as well, all those drivers I just named off, you could also throw Cole Coybe, Nathan Fogler, Craig Batson in the mix. If any of them go to victory lane tomorrow, that's a second victory, and that leapfrogs all the other one-time winners in front of them, puts them into a high-seeded wild card spot. So tomorrow's going to be crazy. Tomorrow's going to be absolutely crazy. See if we can find the other wild card driver here. 45 of David Dixon. There he is right now, 29th on the board. And man, David Dixon, what can you say about the last couple of weeks? They have been awful. Last week at Watkins Glen, came in a slump and did not finish well at all. Comes into this race 8th in the point standings, out of the top 7, where he's been for most of this regular season, able to point his way in. Now he's currently having to rely on a wild card position. He's in the number 1 wild card spot, but if you look at him and Cody Majorek, who we were just talking about on that bubble spot, there's only 6-point separation. So David Dixon could easily fall out of a wild card spot if he has yet another bad weekend here tomorrow. And he is next to last on the scoring pylon right now in terms of speed. Ironically, the only driver that he is outperforming is the driver that found victory lane 1 week ago, and that is Autumn Brooks. Autumn right now at a 41.907, so started second, went on to dominate and win last week at Watkins Glen. Right now, listed to start shotgun on the field. And Autumn, with that victory last week, jumped up 4 spots in the standings. Not only got her first win of her career, but leapt to 7th in points. So jumped into that final points-paying playoff position. Now, though, if she ends up starting deep in the field here for tomorrow afternoon's race, may end up falling out of that 7th spot and falling into wildcard territory. Roberta Crown Jr. on pit road. Cam Wright Jr. going to work here on Chris Dullerton. Last week, Cam Wright Jr. did a great job. He was one of the few drivers in that lights race at the Glen that was able to improve from starting position to finishing position, bringing it home inside of the top 15. As a result of that, he was able to take advantage of the poor run of Roberta Crown Jr. and close the points gap up now to 4 points coming into this race. The battle for that regular season championship continues to be hot and heavy. Roberta Crown Jr. we just saw on pit road. Cam Wright Jr. right now is 3rd on the board at a 41.119, 6 thousandths off of Cody Majorek's 2nd place lap. Roberta Crown Jr. right now sits 17th on the scoring pylon at a 41.439. There are 2 other drivers that could, after this weekend, be going into our season, our regular season finale, I should say, as the points leader. This is one of them, Eli Bright, who had another great road course showing. He was solid back at Sonoma. He was tremendous last week at Watkins Glen. And he is now only 15 points out of the points lead, 4th in overall standings. Mathematically, could leave this weekend for the first time at the top of the point standings, going into Auto Club in a couple of weeks. Another driver that is also in the conversation for the points lead is right there, Colin Grace, who had a great run last week as well at the Glen, is only 14 points out of the points lead, 3rd in overall standings, and right now is in line for good starting track position, currently 6th fastest at a 41.328. But it's Aubrey Powell who is top of the board. Oh, Roberta Crown Jr. just clocked in to 6th fastest, moved Colin Grace down to 7th. 41.314 there for Roberta Crown Jr. So it was looking like he was going to start mid-pack. Now he and Cam Ray Jr. currently would both start up inside of the top 6. And there is the current and most likely pole sitter for tomorrow afternoon, Aubrey Powell, just ahead of Roberta Crown Jr. Has yet to be able to eclipse the near 41 flat that she set in the early going of this race, but it's enough to hold everybody off, and with only 20 seconds left on the clock, very unlikely that that lap time is going to be eclipsed. So that's something that you got to think that the Cup drivers here tomorrow afternoon, their qualifying session, will notice. Maybe want to be one of those first cars out on the racetrack and time it right, get a little bit of draft down the straightaway coming to the start-finish line. That's how Aubrey Powell got the lap time that she did. And zeros have just hit the clock, so now we're just waiting for drivers to complete their final laps here and for scoring to cease. But I don't think you're going to see anybody topple Aubrey Powell from that pole position. Cody Majoric in line to get 2nd. And then it's going to be Cam Wright Jr., Chris Dollerton, and Nathan Stapleton. A couple of Fords there in 4th and 5th position. Dollerton still looking for his first win on the season. Nathan Stapleton, if he gets a 2nd win here tomorrow afternoon, he's up into a wild card spot. Mathematically could point his way up into the top 7 with a win here tomorrow, depending on where everybody else finishes. But that 2nd victory would be huge for a number of drivers. That's 3 wide there going into turn 1. Is that a precursor of something we could see tomorrow? Really looking forward to seeing what happens when we eventually get into race conditions for both the Lights and the Cup Series drivers, as Hanford showed some promise last season in that Cup race. There were just a couple of issues that had to be resolved, as there we go, finally, session is concluded, and the grid is locked. So Aubrey Powell, let me double check on this. I believe this is her 3rd pole of the season. Yes, it is. 3rd pole of the season. Only 3 drivers, including Aubrey, were multi-time pole sitters coming into this race. Dave Smith and Eli Bright being the other 2. And now Aubrey Powell will stand alone with a series-leading 3rd pole here in Season 2. Will that good starting track position translate to maybe a 2nd victory for the 71? Remember we mentioned Aubrey won Pocono. And what did I call Hanford? Miniature Pocono. So we'll see. Majoric and Cam Wright Jr. going to be the rest of the podium, with Dollerton Stapleton in the top 5. Roberto Crown Jr., he and Cam Wright Jr., that battle for the regular season championship, it's going to be close again. Here you got a feeling tomorrow afternoon. He qualifies 6th. Colin Grace also in that conversation, 7th. Carson Gunn, the all-star car out of Garage 55, will start the race in 8th. 9th place is going to be Jackson Haywood, and completing the top 10 will be Craig Batson. So a couple of the KB Racing Enterprises cars right up there in the close of the top 10. As we look through the rest of the starting lineup here, not really any notable things stand out to me, at least up in the top 20-25. Maybe the big ones, we talked about it already, and it didn't improve. David Dixon continuing to free fall down now to a wild card spot, starts 29th, and Autumn Brooks, 1 week removed from her first career win and moving up into the final points paying spot, going to start shotgun on the field. But again, the question mark of the capability of passing here at this racetrack still kind of up in the air. So while they're not going to be definitely getting the starting track position they wanted tomorrow, can these two work their way up potentially into the conversation for the win by time the race end is drawing near. We'll have to find out, but congratulations to Aubrey Powell, third pole on the season, as she'll get ready to lead us to green here tomorrow afternoon. That will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, it's the Cup Series drivers taking here to Hanford for their pole day qualifying, and of course, the Cup drivers, they go racing at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. It's the last doubleheader before we get to our regular season finale here for the Lights and Cup Series drivers. Can't wait to see what Hanford has in store. Thank you all for tuning in to this qualifying session. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, part of the crew today. We have shown you starting lineup. We'll see you guys tomorrow for pole day qualifying from the Cup Series drivers, race day for the Lights drivers, as we continue on our weekend here from Hanford, as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.